Hey, what's going on, my friends and fellow freedom crusaders out there on the internet? This video is going to be posted on my social media, and I'm also going to send it out to my email list. And what I really want to do in this video is share an experience with you that I had last week that hopefully can touch you, that hopefully can lift you, that hopefully can move your heart, because this experience did all of those things for me. And I'm really hoping that through this video, maybe some of that can be transferred over to you and your life can be enhanced. So we had our event last week. The event was called Freedom Fest. We met in Salt Lake City. And to just let you know a little bit about this event and the people there, everyone who showed up to the event is, I would say, really in alignment with some things, some important things that I think maybe set the stage for the experience that so many of us had, which was a really interesting experience. And it was interesting in a lot of ways, but the first big way that I think it was super interesting is by the end of the event, many, if not all of us, had this experience and reached this certain conclusion. And none of us had talked to each other about the conclusion during the event. None of us had described the conclusion or the specific experience that each of us were having to each other. Nonetheless, after the event was done and I started noticing people talking about what had happened, all of us had come to, I think, the same conclusion, which is really, really interesting. And so what was this conclusion? That's what I want to, in this experience, that's what I want to see if I can pass along in this video. And so I'm going to share with you a video that my friend Rob made, who was there at the event. And before I share with you his video, what I want to do is just tell you about what happened to me the day before. I think it was the day before I saw this video. So I was in the hotel gym, sitting on the floor doing some stretching, and 2 or 3 different times I burst out into tears. I was overcome with emotion. And I was overcome with emotion because I had had this massive increase of faith during this event, this touch of the divine, I'll just say. And it just moved me on a deep level. And I was so thankful for this experience that had come to me where my faith was so increased. And I struggled to put into words how I was feeling or what was happening. In fact, all throughout the week, there were multiple times where I went to social media, I went to Facebook and started to make a post, and then I would just stop and not make the post. And there was even one time where I uploaded a video, clicked publish, and then went back and deleted the video. And the reason I was having a hard time was because this was such a special and profound experience that every time I made a post, I felt like what I was posting just didn't come anywhere near to reaching the depth and power of this experience that I was having. And I didn't want to not do it justice. And so I would delete, right? So here I am making this video, hoping that what I'm about to share can have some sort of an approach to the experience that we had and do it some sort of justice. And in all of this, hopefully there's a little bit of value here somewhere for you. And I also want to just kind of maybe use this as a pre-frame for some of the content that I'm going to be posting and sending out over the next little bit, because we got a lot of footage from this event. And what I really want to do is go back through all of our pictures and our videos and select some of the highlights, the touching moments, the teaching moments, the things from this event that really help to bring this sense of power and divinity really to my life and pass that along to you. So I'm going to play Rob's video. But the last thing that I want to say before I play Rob's video is I was struggling to come up with words to describe what had happened at this event. One of my favorite lines from Napoleon Hill is as follows. He said, "The best of words limp when talking of the power of belief." And sometimes language just fails us in our attempt to use it to describe what we've experienced or what we are experiencing. And those are really special moments, I think, when that happens. When you have an experience, you feel something, you go through something, and it's just almost too profound to be able to put into words. So that was my pre-frame for the video that I want to share here with Rob. And if you're open to being moved, if you're open to being touched, if you're open to be inspired today, I would really love for you to open your heart and focus and just watch this video from my friend Rob as he describes his experience at this event. So I'm going to come over here and play the video with Rob.
Home here in Reno, Nevada. Now it's about 10:45 in the morning right now. I've been home maybe 24, 36 hours after attending the Freedom Fest, the HBA Freedom Fest back on January 11th and 12th, and I think over into the 13th. And you know, when I got home the next morning, I got home pretty late. I got home on the 12th about 11 o'clock at night, and Lisa, my cherished wife and girlfriend of the past 40 years, had already gone to bed. And so you know, I did a little bit of downtime, did some meditation, and then the next morning she asked me, well, tell me, what was your favorite part about the event? And you know, I tried to tell her, I tried to pick like my favorite part, and all I could do was just go back to back of people I'd met and experiences and lessons I'd learned, which literally brought me to tears, and I didn't have an adequate answer. And I've literally been just kind of stumbling around the house in a state of blessing and joy. But it came to me how I could best share my greatest takeaway or what I received from attending the HBA Freedom Fest, and just share with you what happened. The best way for me to do that is share with you what happened right after the event for me. Now, if you were there live, if you were there on live stream, you guys will recognize this building. This is the Hotel Monaco, where most of us stayed, not everybody, but most of us stayed. And we had the actual presentation and the talk and the glass walk and all of that here. And this is a pretty big building. And if you go down this road here, this is all a restaurant, elevators to go up to the hotel room. And what a lot of people don't know, I'm going to scoop off in here and get to this road here, is, let me see if I can get up here. Dun, dun, dun. We want to actually get up here and turn this corner. But I actually smoke cigarettes. I've been doing that since I was 16 years old. I had a couple years where I'd actually quit, and I was running every day and all that. So it's one of those little nasty little habits I haven't quite gotten through yet. So what I would do periodically throughout the day is I would come up to, I'd walk back here, and this is the back of the Hotel Monaco here. I'd come out this back door, have a cigarette here, you know, put it in this cigarette ashtray here, and away we go. So we did the glass walk early in the morning, I think 10 o'clock in the morning or so, on Wednesday, January 12th. An incredible, powerful event. And then we did lunch. We shared lunch together, quite a few of us. And then pretty much everybody else was going to go head off into the planetarium, enjoy some more social time, just kind of hang out on a social level and just keep the whole thing going. Unfortunately, my plane was scheduled to leave at 7. I figured I'd get there a little early. The Salt Lake City airport's pretty big. And so I just wasn't comfortable going and then being able to find my way to the airport. So I stayed behind, group hugs, off they go. So I had a couple hours of sitting there just reflecting on the event, and it just brought me to tears many, many times as I was sitting there, really just basking in the joy of what was going on, what I had received at this event. But I came out here to actually smoke, and the weather was warming up a little bit. You see here, there's a person walking down the street, and this was a pretty busy little place. Cars would park here, and this is 2-hour parking. So I'm over here, I'm smoking by myself. There's nobody else around. There are a couple of people had walked by to use the crosswalk. And I noticed down here, I noticed a lady dressed pretty well. A lady kind of like this, she's a little bit older, a little bit smaller, but she was dressed pretty well. And I see her coming down the street, so I'm just kind of holding her in mind. And I see her angling towards these cars, and I'm imagining she's gonna, go to the car, get in. She went shopping, did whatever she did. I'm just kind of paying attention. And then I notice when she gets right about to here, which isn't too far from me, that she actually bends over, picks up a cigarette butt off the ground, and puts it in her pocket. And she smiles, and now she starts angling back over into the sidewalk here. Well, in that moment, for whatever reason or no reason whatsoever, I was prompted to reach into my inside coat pocket, pull out my pack of cigarettes, and I pulled out 3 cigarettes and just had them in the palm of my hand and put the pack back in my pocket. And so she's walking slow, and I go to meet her or intercept her here. And as soon as we kind of meet, she doesn't make eye contact at all. And I understand exactly where she was at that moment in years ago, due to alcoholism, drug addiction, some very, very bad, poor personal choices. I too found myself homeless, literally living on the streets, taking food out of dumpsters, sleeping on a urine-stained mattress I found on the side of the road and tossed in the back of my truck. Been there. I've been there. And at that point in my life, I could tell you the color of your shoes, but I couldn't tell you the color of your eyes because I wouldn't look you in the eye. I felt significantly less than. And she wasn't looking me in the eye, and she mumbled, "Do you have any change?" And I said, "No, I don't," which was true because I don't like carrying change in my pocket. I don't like the jingle jangle, right? So that was a true answer. "No, I don't, but I do have something for you." And I just presented the 3 cigarettes in the palm of my hand to her. And she held out her hand, and I just laid the 3 cigarettes in her hand. And she's looking at them, and then she looked up at me with a huge smile, one of those heart-filled smiles, then looked back at the cigarettes and looked back up at me, and she said, "They're so warm. They're so warm." And she said, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And now I'm kind of gone from her consciousness, but she's saying thank you. I don't think she's thanking me. And she's in that moment, excuse me here, in that moment, this lady had received a gift much greater than I had actually given her. In fact, she had received a gift that I would never in my wildest imagination be able to give her. In my imagination, she had just been touched by the divine. The universe had just shifted in her favor. She just received, for no reason whatsoever, out of the blue, exactly what her heart desire was. Remember, I saw her picking up a cigarette butt, and I just gave her 3. And the universe in that moment had shifted in her favor. She was touched by divine grace. It brought a smile to her face. It brought a smile to her heart. And I just know in whatever way for her, she had received that gift much greater value than I personally actually gave her or would ever be able to give her. And later I realized, and after that event, I went in and I cried. I literally wept for an hour. And I realized today that is exactly what the Freedom Fest event was to me. Each and every person that attended, from Mike Hobbs, Paul, Amy, everybody that attended live and in person, that was celebrating us for being able to be there. From each and every one of you, I received a gift much greater, of much more infinite value than you gave me personally, or would ever be able to give me personally. And I don't know what that means exactly, but I want to thank you. It was good. It was profound. And I'm really, really excited to call you my friends, call you my family, and to be here for all of you guys. Be blessed. Thanks so much.
That video really touches me, and that was the experience I had also. And one of the things that Rob said in that video is that he received and we received a gift that was much greater than any one of us would have been able to personally give each other. And that's true because, as he illustrated, he felt that he was touched by the divine this last week, and that's how I feel. But I want to highlight that we, and who knows, right? Who knows? I'm just doing the best that I can to grasp and try to understand what could have gone into creating that type of an experience where so many of us could have had that same conclusion that that we had somehow touched the essence of something so high and so deep. And I think there are a few things that may have contributed to that. Number one, we all showed up to this event to give. There was no profit incentive at this event, and not that I'm opposed to profit. We need profit to be able to live and do the things that we want to do, and we need profit to be able to be free, of course. But this event, we had decided that we were going to take all of the excess money beyond the expense of the event and donate it to our community charity called Feed My Starving Children. And we did that. At the end of the event, we were able to send off enough funds to provide an extra 12,000 days of meals to kids in need throughout the world through Feed My Starving Children. So right at the outset, this event was about giving. And I think everyone who showed up to the event had that spirit of giving in their hearts. One of the things Rob did at this event, which I'll send some content about later, is he took us through a glass walk, as you heard him mention in the video, where he broke up these wine bottles and there were shards of broken glass. And each person at the event had the opportunity to walk over this broken glass with bare feet. And Rob, he trained at the same place that Tony Robbins trained at to learn how to do things like that, and the fire walk, and bending rebar with your neck, and all of these really interesting things that human beings can do. And Rob showed up and walked us all through that experience and didn't ask for any money for that. He just said, I would like to do this for the people that are going to be there. And that's just another example of how people showed up to give. And everyone who was there showed up to give of their time, their resources, their hearts. And so I think that in part set the stage for creating the space where we could have this experience that Rob so beautifully described, there were a couple other things that I think maybe created the space, and one in particular that I'll talk about, and then I'll probably end the video. But you heard Rob talk about the time when he was homeless, and he said, I could tell you the color of your shoes, but I couldn't tell you the color of your eyes because I felt significantly less than. I wouldn't look you in the eyes because I felt less than. And one of the things that I love about this community that we seem to be creating together is that there's this understanding that no person in this group is better than another person. We're all on an equal footing. And because we all see each other as equals, regardless of where we come from, what we've done, what we're doing now, how much money we're making now or not making, how much money we've made in the past or haven't made yet, regardless of any of those things, at this event, and we've actually done a couple events prior to this. We didn't call them Freedom Fest. They were just gatherings, but they were gatherings of people of this same heart. And at all three of these events, I came away with this beautiful feeling that when there's no judgment of people, and instead there's love and belief and faith and this question of how can I serve this person? How can I be of value to this person? Something amazing happens. And far too often in home business specifically, and I think probably in the world in general, we're all running around trying to demonstrate or communicate our superiority over another human being. When we do that by the clothes we wear, the cars we drive, the homes we live in, the flashes of, income that we like to put out there and, show people how great we are. I could tell you all kinds of things about Rob and the success that he's been creating for well over a decade now. When I first got on the internet, he was already extremely successful and at the top of at the top of everything he was doing at the time. I remember I was living in a trailer house at the time, and I would look at Rob and see him on the leaderboards and see him do just amazing things, and I was in awe by his success. But you know what Rob didn't do at this event, and what I didn't do introducing him on this video, is I didn't talk about how much money he's made and how much success he's achieved in the world. Not that generating income is not a great thing, and not that success is not a great thing, but far too often we use those things to, in some ways, whether intentionally or not, make other people feel less than. And I think that's part of maybe what went into helping to create this experience for all of us. And so I guess the takeaways from this video specifically for me are, number one, we don't understand everything. And number two, there are times in our lives where we can be touched deeply by things we don't understand, and those times are special. And number three, two things I think we can keep in mind to maybe put us in a space where we can have more of those experiences are, number one, show up to give to other people, have love for them, have their highest intention always in mind and in heart. And then the last thing, of course, is to, always remember that no one person is better than another person. And I think if we can remember these things, we can create better businesses, we can create better families, we can create a better world where we can have more of these experiences where we're walking with the infinite and having our hearts touched and guided by the divinity that perhaps is there for all of us to reach out and grasp and pull inside of ourselves so that we can live the best lives possible. So that's what I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I really hope that it's touched you. I really hope that it's moved you. I really hope that it's inspired you to reach for something higher in your life and your business, to walk in a better way, to treat yourself and others in a better way, to remember that you're important, you matter, you have a special purpose in this life, and there's a community there that would love to welcome you with open arms and lift you and inspire you and help you be the best that you can be. And I'd love to invite you to be a part of our community. And what's really cool about our community is we have a free aspect of our community that you can be a part of that costs no money. And as I mentioned, this desire to never cause anyone to feel less than, the people that are members of our community on the free side, they don't feel less than, and they participate in our community, and they get to, receive so many of the benefits that there are to receive in being a part of a non-judgmental, loving, lifting, inspiring, supportive community. And that's a great thing. So if you'd like to check out our community and be a part of it from the free side, I'd love to invite you to go to growrichmastermind.com. That's growrichmastermind.com, and you'll learn how to plug into our community from that angle. And of course, my mission in life is to inspire and empower freedom through principle-centered leadership. And of course, we need income to be free. And if you don't know, I helped to co-found a company a few years ago that this beautiful community is wrapped up in, where you can be inside this beautiful community and also build a residual income at the same time, if that's something that's of interest to you. And if that's something that resonates more, I would love to encourage you to check us out at pipelinemoney.com. You'll see a video from me, a video training. It's the top three ways to build a profitable, heart-centered, soul-fulfilling, soul-aligned residual income. And that's pipelinemoney.com, and that will give you an introduction into the income side of what we do. But regardless, I love you. I believe in you. I know you've got greatness within you, and I'm just so excited to have my heart filled from this event, and to be reminded that, God is there, whatever that is. I have no intention on projecting upon you what that is, but I need God in my life, and I'm just so thankful that I had that experience this last week where I feel like I was touched by the divine, and I feel so much more inspired to move forward and serve and give and live in the best way that I possibly can. So thanks again for tuning in. Make it a great day. And if there's anything I can do for you, please don't hesitate to reach out. And we'll see you in the next piece of content or interaction. Take care, and bye for now.